time to get back to the astral plane. We now got Adventures in Space. As I have that upside down. Good old box set. Now I'm going to be going over all three of the books in this video. And this is the second part of in a sense, the Spelljammer series. So you get a nifty difty, handy dandy DM screen. As I got this upside down as well. I'm like just pretty much ass backwards for everything right now. So good old nifty difty, like I said, handy dandy DM screen. It shows pretty much like a picture of you see here a dying god in the outer space and everything. So basically this is D&D, sci-fi D&D. So what's great now is on the flip side is you actually get like the tables and stuff. So I'll hold this long enough so people can pause and read. And of course I got the usual glare on my lights and everything. That doesn't help. But anyway, got the good old handy dandy tables on the flip side for the DM. So that comes with the good old DM guide. Now the first book in this is a Astral Adventures guide. So now this one is pretty much a guidebook. So you could say this is the player's handbook for Spelljammer. So as we now I got all the alternate cover artwork for this. So you got to see one of those hippogriffs, smoking a pipe and everything. So this is the original artwork, and so I got the alternative, as I said. So now in the table of contents, we can see the different chapters. So it has the usual intro, the character options, Astral Adventuring, and then the chapter 3, the Rock of Brow. So pretty much the staging point for your adventures. So going through this, the introduction. So this kind of gives you a good overview of the terminology, how to use this, different ideas the good old the D10 tables or whatever, the stuff that you can roll for. Now we get into chapter 1. We get different types of classes, equipment, and pretty much different races that you can play. So as you can see here, we have different backgrounds that you can get into. Wild Spacer, and the first one was, as you can see, as I flip back, the Astral Drifter. Then we get into races. So the different types of Githyanki are pretty much one of the big ones here. So we do have the type of elven race called the Astral Elf. Autognome, as you can see, I called them hippogriffs, but these are the actual gifts that you saw on the cover. Then the Hadozi, Plasmoid, 3 Kren, and then in chapter 2 we get actually into the actual Astral Adventuring. So some of the tables you'll see that pulled from this book are on the DM screen for quick reference for the DM. So in here it talks all about the different ideas and concepts that you're going to be using. So here we see Mordecai doing astral projection and everything. So the astral realm is pretty much space. So that's what you can think of as basically outer space. So it's basically D&D's version of sci-fi. So what's cool is it actually this book gives us a different types of ships and different the layout of ships. So with the sci-fi, I've always been loving stuff like this with ships, because it gives it this layout and the concepts of the different ships that you can fly and everything. So that's kind of cool. What the cool thing about this book is it gives you the different layouts and the different types of ships that you can go. So I'm kind of going through this relatively quickly because we still got 2 more books to get through. So you can see the different types of ships that you can come across and can fly and kind of have adventures in space with when you're doing a Spelljammer campaign. So this is kind of the companion box set to the ones I've done, Morty's Planar, the other box set, and those ones are in a sense broken up into 3 different videos. So this one I'm just kind of doing real quickly. So we do get a map in the back that kind of shows the home base for So as you can see here, this is the Rock of Brawl, as I'm knocking over one of my water bottles. So this is kind of like the underside, where it has the agriculture, and then like this is like the top side where it actually has like the city and everything. So like think of like a floating asteroid. That's pretty much like your home base, like where you're pretty much like starting point, where you have like a city and like agriculture on top, the farms and stuff on the bottom. So that's book one, kind of like an Astral Adventures guide. So this was pretty much like the start off point for like the actual like this series of books. Then we got the Boo's Ancestral Menagerie. So D&D, longtime D&D fans will probably remember Boo, the miniature giant space hamster, the companion for Minsk from the original Baldur's Gate game, and he's been in pretty much most of the later iterations of Baldur's Gate. So this one is the actual monsters manual. So the first one was in a sense the player's guide. This one's the monsters manual, and so this gives us like different tables for like different encounters, and then we actually get into like all the different types of like actual monsters that you're going to come across. So like here it gets into the astral elves that we saw in like the first book, so like you could quite possibly come across them, the autonomes as well, so they could quite possibly be villains as well. So in here I'm going to quickly kind of go through this as well. And like the gifts I was talked about, like I always call them hippogriffs, but like they're just gifts. The Githyanki I mentioned in the other book, the Haruzi. So not only can you play these characters, like those types of races, but you can also come across them as, in a sense, monsters or like villains and stuff. So here we see like the new type of dragon called Lunar Dragon. So not only do we have dragons like the chromatic and metallic ones, but now we got outer space dragons, and of course we got like got a space slug, the Megapede, and of course we got like different types of monsters that are pretty much like specific for the astral realm, or like as this is in sci-fi since outer space. So like the plasmoids that you could play as, also you could come across as monsters or villains. So the options in here are just pretty much only limited by your imagination. So this, in a sense, is book 2, and it's pretty much like the monster manual of the astral plane. So I'm kind of going through this relatively quickly because trying to fit this into like a quick video and get all 3 books in, you kind of have to like I don't want to necessarily spend half an hour, 45 minutes just explaining 3 books and everything. So that's book 2, and then book 3, I'm actually not going to do a flip through. But like this is like the Light of the Xarius, or Xeris, or however you pronounce it. My pronunciation always sucks. This is actual an adventure. So like what I'll do is I'll just kind of showcase like the beginning. So like it gives us like the adventure summary, and this is something that you can do as like kind of like a staging point to begin campaigns in your Spelljammer campaign set or whatever. Or you could if you're already started, you could use this as kind of a continuation, or like however you want. So like just quick one on like to end this section. So I'm not actually gonna, like I said, do a flip through of that, like because this is the actual adventure, and I don't want to do any spoilers for the adventure, so that way DMs can actually get their groups in fresh. So like I said, I got the alternative cover. So like here you can see like the in a sense the original cover. So like now collectors can probably do both. So like I'll go back to like the, in a sense, the monster manual, and kind of like showcase the original cover work and then the alternative. So like as you can see, I got the alternative. So like on the back for all these, got nice good old like alternative covers. So what's great about this is that 3 books, they're not too big, and I want to say I spent like 50-60 bucks on this and everything, but it was like a while ago that I got it, so I can't remember off the top of my head. So like people can probably jump in the comments and like actually find the actual price point and everything. So I'm sure you could probably get it off cheaper off of Amazon, but like maybe being big on supporting like your local gaming stores, you should definitely get there even if you're spending an extra 10-20 bucks or whatever. So as you can see, this came in like a box set, so like a good old Spelljammer Adventures in Space. So this is like a, as you can see, a 3-book set. So like you got the guidebook that we went through. In a sense, the Boo's the Astral Menagerie is the pretty much the Monsters Manual, and then Light of Xerxes or Xerxes or however you want to pronounce it. Again, my pronunciations always suck, so like you can always like probably find a good way to pronounce that and everything. Of course, you got your DM screen. So this is like the box set. So this is in a sense like like I said, a continuation of ones I've gone over before with like the Planescape Madness in the Multiverse. So this is like the box set I've already gone over for those. So like the Sigil and the Outlands Morty's Planar Parade, and then Turn of Fortune's Wheel, and then you got this one, Spelljammer's Adventures in Space. So between this and then the other one with the stuff I've already gone over in previous videos, you have all you need to do like in a sense adventures in outer space. Now you could in a sense do your own legwork and as a DM and pretty much make up stuff as you go, but of course that's much more longer. So like it depends on how you want to do it as a DM. Do you want to spend the money and get these 2-box sets and then have most of your legwork done for you, or do you actually want to spend the time and do all the legwork for you? Now, to each his own. This is a video just to showcase like the books and stuff, to be able to showcase like, hey, look, if you just like, if you're new to not only DMing, but if you're new to like maybe a Planescape campaign setting, I'd say get books like this, so that way it gives you like a lot of like the background information, so you're not doing like a lot of that legwork that I mentioned. It gives you like a lot, it makes your job as the DM a lot easier, and so that way you can pretty much just jump in and just run with it and everything. So this is the finish off, in a sense, the Spelljammer campaign set, and so this is the second of the 2 like box sets that I was able to get and everything. So if you ever want to have sci-fi D&D, this is definitely one of the ones that things that you want to get into.